welcome to a brand new episode of Coming Distractions. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with Demetrius.
How you doing?
All right, guys, we're back. This episode, we are going to discuss Valerian, the City of a Thousand Planets.
Welcome to Alpha, the city of 1,000 planets. It's paradise.
Amazing.
The city is under attack.
Our destiny is in your hands.
Valerian.
Okay, so this film, I'm going to read this log line. I did not see this movie. Demetrius did. Thank you for your sacrifice.
I fell on that sword hard.
So this film is starring Dane DeHaan and what is this woman's name?
Cara Delevingne.
Thank you. So the log line for this is Valerian and Laureline, played by those two actors. It's an adaptation of the original story, which centers on a pair of spatio-temporal agents who help defend a utopian 28th century Earth and its neighboring planets from bad guys, with the pair's adventures rooted in space opera and time travel themes. Okay, that is a lot. What did you think of this movie?
Movie was beautiful. Honestly, like there's one thing you can say about Luc Besson, which is his creature design is just ridiculous, because between that and The Fifth Element, it's on the same level as Guillermo del Toro, when the whole Hellboy thing, and I mean the colors, it was always bright. I mean, if you took acid.
It looked beautiful. I will say that the trailers looked very beautiful.
I will always give it that. So I mean, if I'm going to give it out of my stars rating or whatever, I'm going to give it a 2 just because of the way that it looked. As far as the stories, dude, there was a love story, there was a revenge story, there was a heist part to it, then there was a coming of age one in there as well.
That's a lot.
There was someone who, the coming of age, I mean, there was just someone trying to discover who she is as a person, and then she died, I think. Maybe. You never know, because aliens. You never know. So yeah, it was a very convoluted plot. You know, at first, it's one of those movies where it started out telling you nothing. Okay. And then as the movie progressed, it was like they're trying to unfold the mystery as to why this thing happened and why that happened and all that. It was 2 hours and 17 minutes long. Wow. Okay. When I say 2 hours and 17 minutes long of trying to discover and unfold this mystery, it was the last 10 minutes when everything came out.
Wow. Okay. So it sounds to me, and this was an impression that I got from the trailers, it sounds to me that they put far more work into the visuals than they ever did into making a cohesive story, right? Because this is based on a famous French graphic novel.
I thought it was like a YA thing because of just the way that the themes were of the relationships between the two leads. It was so forced. You know, like how is Dane DeHaan or DeHaan and Cara, how are they in this? Because they don't strike me as two of the most charismatic leads. No. Okay. So they try really hard to be Maverick and just I can't. I mean, this is kind of sad, but I can't think of like a strong lead. Oh no, the chick from what was that movie? I can't think of it. Charlize Theron. Not when she was the one with the Mad Max.
Oh, yeah, when she was Furiosa.
Right, Furiosa. That's where I think Cara Delevingne got her spirit animal from, because she was always trying to hit somebody, and it was cool. She was as lively as she possibly could be, but both of them were wooden as this table, and his voice does not match his body. And they try to make him a Lothario, like somebody who has like this body count of women, or excuse me, this playlist of women.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah, they call it a playlist. Because it was like within the first 30 seconds of the movie even starting. like that all these faces just came up and he could just select a song or something like that, and it's them. And so it was just, they tried so hard to make him either a James Bond, person, or someone who was just charismatic to the point where anything that happened, he could handle it like he was John McClane.
Right.
That was not the case. I mean, he didn't work out. I mean, I'm sorry. Like they had him shortlisted, and I'm thinking like, all right, this is supposed to be like, he's
supposed to be like the guy, yeah.
So like the dude, and instead they kind of put him in a G.I. Joe exosuit, and that thing made him. That was kind of hot. I mean,
there
was things that was great in it, but no, it just didn't make sense.
So okay, I gotta ask, because like for me, I was immediately struck by the trailer. I was like, wow, this is visually really cool. I am not a massive Luc Besson fan. Like, I think his stuff is visually interesting and visually arresting, but it tends to lack substance, like an actual story. Don't get me wrong, I like The Fifth Element, but I think The Fifth Element is a little overrated, right? Like, I think...
You think so?
I like, it's a cult classic for a reason, and I think it's because it's wacky and crazy, and I enjoy it to a point. Mm-hmm. Where this one seemed to take that and kind of go off the rails a little bit, because every bit of talk about the movie is it's visually amazing. It's visually amazing. I'm like, no one's talking about the story. Like, no one is talking about the story. So, do you find it sounds like there's a lot of genres kind of clashing together. Did it ever meld and sort of just,
become a cohesive
story?
Did within the last 10 minutes, everything came together. And honestly, the plot kind of looked, it was not the plot, but everything looked like John Carter. Like everything, it felt like John Carter.
I could see that.
With the way that the aliens were refugees and they had to do this or they had to do this through subterfuge, and everything just seemed like if it was on a desert planet, it would have been John Carter of Mars. Yeah.
I can see that. I mean, everything is kind of derivative from John Carter anyway, but...
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
It's old.
But Clive Owen was in this movie.
I saw that in the Wikipedia, and that saddens me.
He I don't know. Maybe he's in his old man, I don't give a damn type thing, because he didn't really need to be in here at all. I mean,
which is a shame, because Clive Owen is like in The Nick, he's really good in that.
Yeah. And he was a MacGuffin in this, of all things. Like, how does that make sense?
But that dude is a very strong actor.
And not in this, he wasn't.
That's
not in this. I mean, and let's talk about the dialogue. I was telling Jay before we started, I thought the name Valerian was really cool before I heard it 97 and a half times within the first hour of the movie. I mean, it's like they built the script around the name so that it would be a household name and everyone would like jump on that bandwagon.
That's interesting.
I got annoyed listening to anybody say his name.
And that's Dane DeHaan's character.
Yeah. Right? And he's trying to woo people, or he is just like, he's trying to be more than what he is capable of being.
I feel like that is true of his entire acting career. I hate to say that. I thought he was good in Chronicle. And then everything else, it's like they're trying to push him to be this lead. I just don't think he has it. I don't think that's who he is.
He doesn't have the stature. I mean, I'm not saying that because I don't even know if he's short. I don't, that's not even a thing.
You don't mean physical stature.
It's just, he just doesn't have the presence. Right. If you look at him and the guy, an older analog as far as just looks concerned, would be Tom Cruise. Just a standard, standard white guy with like dark hair and able to move his body in a certain way that looks acrobatic.
Yeah.
Like he can run.
Right.
He can run like Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
But as far as standing there and trying to deliver lines that, I don't know if it's just because they're silly, but then I remember Amazing Spider-Man 2 when he was in there, and I'm thinking that wasn't the best example either.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, that wasn't his fault. That wasn't his fault.
That wasn't his fault, but still, if there's so many actors out there that can read the newspaper and make you interested.
Right, that's true.
That's true.
So, there's nothing about him that that feels like a leading man to me. Like when I saw the trailer, I was like, Dane DeHaan is the leading man in this?
Yeah.
Why? And then his co-star has almost no acting experience whatsoever. She's a
Suicide
model.
Squad.
Yeah, I know. And she was
Right.
awful.
She was.
Yeah, all that like
Yeah.
nonsense. I was
And
like,
listening to her speak, my God.
well, she's not an actress. Not really.
I couldn't tell who was worse, her or Rihanna. Like, it was.
I don't know. I haven't seen the movie, but
Boy.
my guess is Rihanna was worse.
And she tried, but then no. Rihanna was not worse just because she was only in it for a little bit, whereas this
Okay, that's fair.
this other chick was in it for the entire film. And I don't know. I mean, I just got to go back to the creature design. You know, the aliens and everything else was just really good.
The positives.
I mean, yeah, like the ideas. The movie opens up where they are showing the evolution of human interaction with space. So from 19,
That's kind of cool.
it was, you know, from like 1975 when we were, you know, on Apollo missions to the building of the space station. The through line throughout the next 600 years was a person who was on a space station greeting another individual. At first, it was American and then a Russian and then American and then a Chinese and then just a human and then an alien. And then from that point on, it was different types of aliens, and the person who was meeting them was getting older. And so they essentially aged through this entire thing, and then they skipped a couple decades, and then we started learning more from the alien species that decided, like, well, let's bring in the humans and whatnot, and this when they say the city of 1,000 planets, it is one big mega city, like you would think of, like from Judge Dredd or something, other where all these different things are put together, and the sharing of knowledge and the sharing of cultures or whatnot. That's the utopia that they're talking about to protect that, and the concept is beautiful. You know, it's
again,
great,
I think it looks visually impressive. I just wish there was a story there,
man.
Or it sounds like there was too much story.
There was several. Like, there was a lot of stuff to catch up on. I mean, I brought my friend Joey with me, and she was like, "Wait, what did we get here to there?" And I was like, "Wait for it. Maybe they'll explain to it in the end." And they did. The very last 10 minutes of it.
Yeah, that's too much.
2 hours. 17
2 hours and 17 minutes is incredibly long. So, okay, you said you would give it at least a minimum of 2 for the visual. So what is your overall score out of 5?
2.
Oh, all right. Well, then there you go.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, they put a lot of money into this, and you could tell. I mean, I'm pretty well adjusted when it comes to the 3D, but this 3D hurt. Like it gave me a headache, and I had to take my glasses off several times throughout the movie to readjust and to wipe the sweat from my brow because it was so hot in there. But it was a very visually striking movie, and if you feel like you want to go through for it, go ahead. Some people, there were some jokes in it.
Yeah,
it was funny at some point. I didn't laugh, but and I'm an idiot.
I'm easily entertained.
Right? Yeah, I am.
That's funny. All right, so to wrap this up, 2 out of 5, visually very arresting. Not much else there.
No.
Trying to do a little too much, it sounds like.
Yeah, I don't think it'll get a sequel.
No, I doubt that. Now, just the last question, and then we're going to get out of here. Would this have been better if they had pulled the story a little smaller and tried to just do multiple movies?
If they did 90 minutes, if they did solid 90 minutes of what the story was, it would have been a great introduction as to what this entire universe was. Man, I would have been all about it, because it wouldn't have been Valerian. It would have been great. It would have been great, you know, because
That's fair. All right, guys, that is it for our review of Valerian, the city of 1,000 planets. I am so glad I did not see this movie. I have to tell you. All right, okay, guys, that is it, and we will see you next time for Coming Distractions.